What's good, y'all? Today I'm back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about why speed is the worst skill tree in the game, and the steps required to take in order to actually fix it and make it a competitive playstyle that can actually be rewarded and played more than by 3 people and actually hated like hell. And before we get into it, I'd just like to say that we're almost at 2K subscribers, and I just like to ask that you quickly go down and subscribe because only like 2% of you guys are subscribed. It's free and it helps out the channel a lot. I'll be doing two Hogoku giveaway, 100 to 200 Irie rolls, and 20 Hogoku fragments. When I reach 2K in my Discord, we're like 130 or less away now. We're like 120ish away. So go down, subscribe, join my Discord as well, and yeah, let's get into it. What I'd like to mention on speed to begin with is that it has been acknowledged by Setro, the game owner, that it is the worst skill tree in the game. Well, indirectly, but he mentioned it when he was talking about Hakuda. That Hakuda was the second weakest skill tree in the game, which obviously isn't true, and I'll debunk why later. And speed was the weakest in that. He said next to speed, Hakuda is the second worst style in the game, or stat. And I'd just like to say that, yeah, it takes a lot for these Hakuda meat riding devs and the owner to actually recognize that Hakuda isn't the weakest fucking thing, and that would take a lot. And speed is most definitely the weakest skill tree in the game. Why? Well, its Reiatsu cost is the start and end of its issues. Really, it doesn't match its damage output at all. It also has no combos. Like 90% of the time when you're fighting with speed, there's gonna be like, I think a 97% chance to almost 100 that you're not gonna be able to kill, like, even if you land everything, they will not die by the time Ryatsu runs out, and then you're just gonna take a one-sided beating because you can't defend yourself. You literally landed all your shit perfectly, and that was it. This is a lot worse on rank Rs because Visors and Let's users have a version of Ryatsu region that can get and boost in the Ryatsu region variant Visored, and also on pop they also get like almost a bar of Ryatsu back. So that can actually like come in handy as in like supplement the trashy Ryatsu cost of full speed. But at the same time, a ranker has a unique skill with speed, so you're like you'd want to go it, but at the same time, there's not really much there's not much that it gives you. It doesn't do nearly enough damage. It doesn't have any combos. It takes way too much Ryatsu. And the only thing it really offers you is mobility. And other things. For example, speed in itself was actually very good when the game started out, like, fresh. Like, when the game was fresh, the first time it released, I mean. There was a lot, and I mean a lot of people playing speed, simply because it did actually very good damage. It was better in overworld ganks, but now that those have decreased and, well, it doesn't do as great of damage, seeing a full speed player is like an extinct species. They're like the fucking tribes from the Amazon jungles that you hear stories about. That you're like, oh, you should watch out for them because they're this and they're that. Most speed users are either so bad at the game that it's funny and they just wanted to play speed and then realized later down the line that their skill is simply not enough to run speed. And even if they are skilled, at one point they just get mad that they have to outplay everybody just to even to be able to win any altercation. So they're like an extinct fucking species. I even played it once at one point because I actually loved speed when the game first dropped, and I still do love speed. It's just the fact that it doesn't do damage, so I physically can't compete. I can't play clan wars with speed. I can't do shit with speed. Speed simply is not a good stat tree. And as I said, speed by itself, 60 speed should have some combos. Not true combos, not the way. So don't think that I'm asking for speed to get true combos like the hybrid of Kendo and speed. I'm asking for move synergies. For example, how vertical strike can go into split gate and then creates true pierce. I want something like that with speed. For example, use one skill and follow it up with another that's pretty hard to land, that does pretty good damage. You could also use the soul style that you have in game for a quick fix. Make time cut apply more hits, but at the same time make it do less damage. So it's the same damage outcome, but time cut actually gives you more Reiatsu back on landing. You could do the same thing with Fast Fang, and just overall, it needs some sort of Reiatsu sustainability. One form or the other, because it's simply unsustainable on a rank R. If you play a rank R speed, and I did, it is genuinely so bad that within, like, if you think they're, like, half health, you might actually run out of Ryatsu if they're actually good at dodging or parrying you. Speed is simply, yeah, as I said, not good. It doesn't have good damage. It doesn't have any move synergies. It doesn't have any true combos. It doesn't have any of the things that the other movesets do. Like, even Hakura. Hakura has a way to get your Ryatsu back. Kendo has a way to get your Ryatsu back. Kiro literally has more Ryatsu regen. Medic literally steals Ryatsu, and then there's Speed with no sustainability or any way to get it back, and you're just sat there with no Ryatsu getting your cheeks slapped by a Hakura. Though, there's another thing I want to talk about Speed. Enhanced Steps. Enhanced Steps is such a good fucking move, but at the same time, it's so easy to forget after you activate it once. So I don't understand how these devs don't see the fact that they are actually biased towards Sakura, because Enhanced Steps should work like Shunko does. And maybe not as great of a duration, because I actually believe that Enhanced Steps used well is way better than Shunko. But at the same time, the duration that it has is like 10 seconds, not even. It should be longer than that. Bro, if you're making Shunko a toggleable ability where they don't have to turn it back on, which wasn't the intended purpose, why aren't you also switching Enhanced Steps to not be its intended purpose and be a toggleable ability? It makes no sense. At least to me. Like, you either keep the same energy on everything, or just don't do it at all. Like, it's how they did Fear, when they gave Endlac to Fear, but they didn't want to nerf Byakko or anything that their precious little femboys used. Precious little femboy devs used. So they just ended up buffing Fear as a way to, like, pretty much neglect the fact that they were both unbalanced. Yeah, Fear is unpunishable, Eviscerate's unpunishable, Byakko's unpunishable. Literally, any dash in the game pretty much has no end lag. These motherfuckers have no conception of how to keep the same energy on anything. Enhanced Steps should work like Shunko does, because they're essentially the same fucking thing. They're a toggleable mode that gives you a benefit. On top of that, most people who go Speed, as I said, go 40 Speed, 25 Kendo, because Kendo simply supplements your need for damage, because Speed does not give enough. Most of Speed's passives are kind of useless. Every third hit of Speed damage gives you a flash step boost. Who in this world needs that much flash step speed where you need to step away to the other side of the map? Instead of that, make it so that every 3 hits of speed damage at like 60 speed, make it a passive, where you get enhanced dodge frames for a certain amount of time. Something competitive, because flash steps simply aren't good enough for just speed to be viable on them. Make it like have a higher dodge frames for limited duration, and maybe it can't stack with enhanced steps. There's things you need to give Speed in order to supplement its damage, supplement its ray usage, or just in the case of Arankar, just give Arankars any form of ray sustainability, because I think that's the only issue Arankars really have. They don't have we I guess, because I also play Arankar. We don't have any fucking ray sustainability at all. You run out of ray so fast. Even if you're... the only way you wouldn't run out is if you're keto. And then on top of being keto, you would also need to have every boss drop in the game, which I almost do. And that's the only reason I could see you sustainably using your abilities and not constantly running out of Ryatsu. So yeah, that's all I'd like to say on Speed. Thank you guys for listening and tuning in. I'll also make another video on Hakura and why it's so broken. And for you Hakura nerds, don't get in my comments talking about some yip yip yabba blah 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 blah. As I said, I'll talk about why it's broken. Like how I did with Kendo. How Kendo functions how it shouldn't. How it's buggy. Things like that. I'll be addressing that. You can take your combos elsewhere. Because genuinely, the last time I got Hakura comboed was 3 years ago. If you're still getting Hakura comboed to this day, you might be having a skill issue. So work on improving that. And yeah, that's about it. I'll see you guys in the next video, whether that be today or tomorrow, and it won't be any later than that. And thank you for tuning in. Subscribe, go down to the description, join the Discord, and yeah, I'll see you guys later. Peace.